Okay, after successfully logging and registering the platform, you go to the dashboard. You see an empty dashboard here because we don't have right now any requests. So I found a random Airbnb listing with a review left by Deborah 3 years ago, which seems they were trying to get refund in some ways, dropping unfair review for Paul's listing here. So let's copy the URL of this listing, submit your first request. First thing is we need to fetch listing details. So by dropping your Airbnb URL here, we get all the information about your listing, title, description, amenities, rules, additional rules, all the reviews you have, your host, etc. So all of this information helps us to package that to provide that to AI and use that to prepare it as a strong case and using all of this positive information as a ground for your case to remove this review. So the first step, there are three steps that needs some patience and taking its own time. So the first step is this one, which may take 1 minute or a bit more than 1 minute, but it's really highly important so we get all the information about your listing to be able to use that for your case. I quickly pause the video and get back to you when this is done. Excellent. So the listing information is in our platform. As you see, we see the same thumbnail, information, host, etc. So the first step is we look for the review we want to remove. So we remove one review at a time. So we flag this one, click on proceed with evidence gathering. So the first important field is booking details. So we need to have the reservation ID. In this case, I'm dropping some random and demo ID. But for drafting our request to Airbnb, we need this reservation ID. And some other information if you have, for example, if there was a late checkout or something like that, and the guest didn't respect your rules, you can drop that here related to the bookings. Communication with guests, this is highly important to drop all the communication you had with the guest. Don't worry about if it looks nice, etc. So don't worry about that. The AI use all this information to prepare a strong ground and find anything it can in the communications you had with the guest. Something really, really important is if you have any evidence in your communication with the guest that they try to ask for a refund in exchange, not leaving a bad request and bad review for you, drop that here because that makes your case really easy to get approved for a removal request. So all the communication, I don't know any communication with them guest, so I'm going to use exactly what Paul dropped here. So I'm going to copy this and drop that here. Any incident record, this is really important as well, but optional field. If the guest broke any rules, there was any registered incident with Airbnb, this makes your case again easier. So drop that here as well. Additional comment, anything extra you want to drop. I'm going to use again the same reply Paul used in Airbnb. So continue to analysis. So start AI analysis. The first step for us is to have a gateway to see if this review is actually eligible for removal. So we simulate Airbnb removal scoring system to give this review a score so you don't continue with the rest of the process and don't waste your time if it's not going to be eligible. So I'm going to click on Start AI Analysis. This is going to take less time, but what it happens in the background, we're simulating a scoring system of Airbnb and give a score between 0 to 100 to this review. And if it's higher than 50%, we make it eligible so you can continue with the platform. So again, pausing quickly and get back to you when this is done. Excellent. So we got 100% score for this review, which is really good sign. So we can continue with the next step in our platform. So continue to Airbnb contact. First, we see an overall summary of what happened in the platform, and you see an action button to request removal here. So I'm going to use a coupon code I have, so I don't pay anything here. And this is already removed code, so don't try to use that. So I place the order, I get back to the platform after the order is done. And next step is the most important step of our platform. In the background, when we click on generate my request, you have two request generation attempt here. So when you click here, there are three AI workflows get triggered in the background. First one is using all of your listing details and the review you want to remove and anything else that we gathered during this process to prepare your initial removal request. So that AI agent generates the initial removal request, but there is another AI agent, which is Airbnb Judge, and its job is to reject your case. So it reviews everything and find anything possible to reject your case and provide 3 or more rejection grounds for your case and suggestions how to not get rejected. We provide the initial request, the AI judge response, and give that to another agent, which his job is to use all this information together to prepare your initial removal request to send that to Airbnb. So this step is going to take some time because there are a lot of stuff happening in the background. So give it at least between 3 to 4 minutes. We are using reasoning thinking of large language models in the background. That's why it's taking some time. So give it some time. If you refresh the page, nothing happens, or if you lose your access to internet, anything, nothing happens, because at the end, we are saving anything in the background, but this is a UI for you to make sure you are aware that we are still processing your request. So I'm going to pause quickly and get back. Nice. So we are back. Our initial removal request generated. First thing you see when you click here and you want to dispute a review, Airbnb asks you a question. Why you want to remove this review? So this is the answer to that question. So make sure you use this answer when you're on Airbnb review dispute. And next, you see here the email or the content you are going to send to them. So it provides some information. One specific reason, the most important one, use it as a center of the argument you have for the removal, and the rest of the information that is necessary to send that to the AI agent on Airbnb platform. We can edit this information. For example, I don't want this section. Let's remove that, save. And something you need to be careful is the max number of characters is 2,500. So be careful to edit that first here, make sure it looks good, and after that, drop that in Airbnb platform. But let's say, which is highly possible, your first attempt is not going to be approved and Airbnb reject and deny your request. So you have two generation requests here. So I can regenerate again. Make sure you mark that as rejected. And something that shows up, you see there is no button here anymore. But what you have here is generate follow-up appeal. So what happens here is we use the initial removal request you had. Airbnb reasoning that they have that it says it doesn't break any review policy of Airbnb, etc. We checking in the review policy all the policies that we can use to appeal the case and use multiple triggers, for example, trigger a human in the loop, etc., to make sure your appeal request success rate is going to be higher. So you can appeal again 2 attempts you have here. I'm not going to do that again, but when we click here, a new model shows up, a pop-up shows up, you wait, and after that, a new section, it pushes the generated request down, and the follow-up appeal request content shows up, exactly same as what you see here. So this is the full process of ReviewRemoval platform.